What's going on? All thanks for tuning in once again. Let's talk about Bohachuk versus Ortiz. Great fight to watch, very entertaining. Um, 95% knockout ratio from both of them, I believe. Over 95% knockout ratio, duking it out. What more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? Um, but one thing that I could ask for is a fair decision. Although, a lot of people are saying, hey, Ortiz looked like the better fighter, let's not forget who got knocked down twice. Okay, the first one was called off from the referee saying it was a slip. Then, later in the fight, it's an official knockdown. It's pretty clear that it's official knockdown. The commentary is saying he gets hit and then he falls. Right, this isn't a case of him chopping over his feet, losing his footing. No, this is a case of him falling, um, hitting the canvas with his glove, after getting hit from a punch to the head. Second time, again, gets hit, both gloves on the canvas, that's a knockdown. Let's understand that, you don't need to be laying on the ground to be knocked down. If your glove is touching the ground, it's a knockdown, okay? So let's not get that twisted. So that's 4 rounds up from the champion, Boyachuk's the champion in this one, defending his title. Um, and after that, it's just a case of punch for punch, really. Duking it out. Sure, there's moments from both of them. There is moments where Ortiz does win rounds. He does look like he's more effective. Then there's also moments where Boyachuk's controlling the fight with the jab. So I mean, surely you can't give the fight to the challenger. This isn't Gile Zhang, after 8 rounds, dropping Parker twice and then cashing out. No, this is a guy that's throwing till the end, exchanging. A lot of the time, Boyachuk had a had better counter punching ability than Ortiz. The exchange from Boyachuk was more effective. Some rounds Ortiz was more effective, but there was a lot of swing rounds. There was a lot of rounds where you're unsure who to give the round to. But just keep in mind, I believe that Boyachuk was controlling the fight more. So if you're scoring a boxing match, you score on aggression, effective punches, etc. So I mean, Boyachuk was the one coming forward on a lot of the occasions. He was backing off Ortiz. He was controlling the fight with the jab. Who was more effective with the punches? Well, who got dropped twice? Ask yourself that. Um, there was a lot of punches from both guys. Like I said, both guys got high knockout ratios. So I mean, who did have the most effective punches? That's a question on its own. We know that the champion did drop the challenger twice, and for the judges to score it, I believe it was 114, 112, or something like that, or a majority decision. I'll say anyway. I believe that's corrupt. I believe that the judges should be questioned why, or how they scored the rounds. I think this is going on for far too long. Where guys like myself watching the fight gets to the end, and then all of a sudden, it's like a curveball. No one expects it coming. Right, no one expects it coming, and all of a sudden the challenger wins the title. With no real evidence of how. No real commentary from these guys scoring it. No real breakdown of why they gave the rounds to Ortiz. We just very confused here. So I mean, these judges, I believe, it's very corrupt. I think the referee, that first knockdown was very clear. For him to call it a slip immediately, that was corrupt there as well. I believe the second time he knew that he couldn't call it a slip. Even though Ortiz was shaking his head, he knew, it was a clear big punch. The first one was a punch where Ortiz was on the back foot. He gets basically hit off balance and he drops. The second one was more of a a big shot taken and he falls, or I should say his hands hit the canvas, gloves. So, I mean, like I said, it was a very entertaining fight, but, you can't just take the title away from the champion after both guys have power in them. Both guys have the high percentage knockout ratio. Both guys are exchanging. Some rounds, one's above the other. Then other rounds, it's the other way around. A lot of swing rounds as well, and then plus the knockdown. So being 4 rounds up, how can you give the fight to the challenger? It just doesn't make sense at all to me. It's very corrupt. It's very corrupt. I think it's very wrong to the public, to the champion, and to the guys that, are making, or, placing bets, I should say, the people that are trying to make money off this fight. They're basically getting robbed. There's no explanation. We understand the rules of boxing. We understand that, if you hit the canvas, regardless of who's winning the rounds, if someone else scores a knockdown, that's a 10-8 round, okay? So there was 2 of those. That's 4 rounds up in a 12-round fight. I do not believe that Ortiz won 8 rounds after that. It's just too hard to say. Even looking at the last round, I gave that to the champion, okay? There was no urgency where Ortiz was, landing massive shots on the champion, where the champion looks like he's Tyson Fury against Usyk on his last legs. No, there was none of that, Although Ortiz did get chopped, he did get up immediately. He did, raise immediately. But, it was a pretty even fight in terms of who was more effective. So let's go to the knockdowns, So there's the winner right there, The winner should have been the champion. And still, Bohachuk, he got robbed in my opinion. Please leave your take on it. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, Ortiz looked more effective. Let's not get it twisted, Let's watch that fight again. Let's look at the knockout ratios. Let's see who got chopped twice. And let's see who controls the fight more with the jab. Let's see who's more aggressive in terms of who's on the back foot, who's coming forward. That's my take anyway. Leave yours. I look forward to the comments. I think that these judges really need to be investigated. I think they should definitely not use the same guys over and over again. And I think that they should have a breakdown of why they scored the fight how they do. Leave your take on it. Look forward to the comments. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.